All right, guys, we're going to get started. So if your team's not on, make sure you do send that text message. I am just so pumped for what's going to happen tonight and our special guest speaker. All right, guys, so now that she's on, I'm just going to spill the tea. Okay, Ashley Clark, I don't know if you guys know her. She is a triple diamond leader on our team. She is absolutely incredible, someone I really look up to as far as leadership and just all over work ethic. She is just someone I inspired to be as far as like in the business, and she's absolutely incredible. She's so funny. She says she's shy. I don't believe it. But I'm so excited that she's on here to talk with us because this babe went diamond in 90 days, okay? She went diamond in 90 days. And at the time she was, did I say her name wrong? Ooh, Ashley, okay. And at the time she had found out that she had cancer after she joined the business. And so I'm just really excited for her to share a little bit about her story. So y'all, here's the mom to two absolute beautiful girls. We have her for 30 minutes. It's her daughter's birthday. So I am so thankful that you even said yes to this Zoom. So Ashley, just take it away and tell us a little bit about your story and how you went diamond in 90 days.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, I'm the most green, and I typically, like Shayna knows, like I've done power hours and trained stuff with her before. Like I have to write down all the things I'm gonna say before a Zoom, but we've been playing like 12,000 games of Clue today, so I didn't. So if I veer off or lose my train of thought, it's because I don't have like my notes, and I'm very green and detail oriented. So we're gonna wing it. Okay, so yeah, my name's Ashley Clark, like you said. I joined in April 8th of 2017. At the time, I was a single mom of two, still a single mom. I have a boyfriend now. I don't know if that I could say I'm a single mom, but I'm still like the only parent. I don't know. Okay, so single mom of two at the time. I was going to school for architectural engineering, and it wasn't your typical college because, you know, sometimes you can do like online college, or you can do, you know, where you go like Tuesday, Thursday night, Monday, Wednesday night. This was like basically like being in like high school. Like this was Monday through Friday, being there from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like basically its own full-time job in itself. And then on top of that, I was also working as a barista. And so sometimes my shifts would be 4 in the morning to like 7 a.m. Then I'd be rushing to go to school and get my girls to where they need to be for that. Or it'd be after school, you know, I'd be at like 4 p.m. after I get out of class, get my girls to daycare, get there at 4 p.m., work until, you know, 8 or 9 p.m. And it was just the most insane schedule, which is actually why it took me 6 months. I joined through Katie, and it took me 6 months to actually like say yes to her and join, just because I was like, no, I'm too busy. But it's crazy when you are so connected to your why and like what you want, and you are so dedicated to like what you're going after, you make time for these things, and it's insane. So to anyone that feels busy, like I am like the one person who does not take the busy like excuse, because I'm like, no, dude, I did this with school, with you know, my girls doing baking lessons. And literally our only day of no school, no work, no anything going on was every other Sunday, because they go to their dad's house every other weekend. And so we literally had no school, no work on every other Sunday. So like 2 days out of the month, we had days where our life was not like insane. So I joined, and I didn't even think I was going to be good at this, but I kind of just like jumped in, and they call it like ignorance on fire, where you're not really like so stressed about what you're doing. You're just like so excited, and you're just doing the damn thing. And I ended up promoting to Ruby my first 22 days. And then after I did that, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Like, let's go for more. And we had a $10,000 diamond bonus in 90 days. At that time. So I was very like focused on, okay, I'm going to earn this $10,000 diamond bonus, kind of like the one that they have going on right now. And I really just kind of like buckled down, like during those 90 days, like I was very just work, school, my girls, and it works. Like if it wasn't out, like anything outside of that just like didn't really exist to me for those 90 days. And I can tell you all of that like sacrifice and kind of just like putting aside any kind of like social life and all the things was so worth it because of what it's like provided for me and my girls and where we are now. Like I tell my team all the time, like if I had to go through those 90 days again of like just sacrifice and like staying up late and being exhausted and being tired, I would do it all over again just because of what it did for us and what it continues to do for us. So I went diamond in 90 days. I was actually set up that month to go double diamond. And I ended up quitting my job. And then 4 days after I quit my job, I found out that I had stage 4 lymphoma, which was just a wild thing in itself. And I was going to be going through 6 months of chemo and then a month of radiation. So I kind of had like a meltdown of like, 3 weeks of like what is going on in my life? Like what, like 25 and going through like chemo, like this makes no sense. And so I kind of like was kind of just doing my business, but being a bit like steady about it. And then towards the end of chemo, you know, like during that time, like this business provided for me. Like I think that that was God's timing of like, how do you just end up quitting your job to work from home and then 4 days later find out that you're like gonna go through cancer and like chemo. And so, you know, I'm so thankful for this business because during that time I was able to focus on healing my body and like taking care of me and my girls and not having to worry about an income, not having to worry about going somewhere. You know, I was a bikini barista at the time, and if you don't know what that is because you're not in Washington State, it's like half naked coffee, like literally wearing a bikini and making coffee, and you can't do that if you're bald and going through chemo. That's awkward, right? Just gonna say that. So honestly, like everything was such God's timing, and this business provided for me during that time. And then the month that I was going through radiation, I actually like ended up signing for my apartment because like during that my girls and I just kind of like stayed with my parents so they could kind of help me on the days that I did have chemo, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, the month I was going through radiation, I signed for an apartment that I couldn't afford because yes, Diamond's amazing, but if you live in Washington State and probably a lot of states, like a $2,000 income isn't going to pay for your rent. That's going to cover your rent and then some bills, but it's not going to pay for, you know, rent, car payment, food, all the things. And so it kind of just kicked my ass in gear, and I ended up just going double, like while going through radiation. I was like, well, I'm not going to afford this apartment if I don't go double. So it lit a fire under my ass. I went double that month. And then a year after that, I went triple. I was like, what did I do? I went triple. And so, you know, just from the past 3, almost 4 years, now it's crazy that it's been 4 years because I feel like time just goes by so fast. Like I've been able to pay off over $18,000 in credit card debt. I've gone from being that single mom that's like on the food stamps and having the state help me pay for, you know, the girls' childcare. Like I'm not on any kind of state assistance anymore. I we travel a lot. Like I've taken the girls off over to the East Coast. Like we travel a lot, which is something I always wanted to do, but I never felt like I could do just because of being a single mom. I have my dream car now. I have like an actual savings account, and I've learned about investing, and I'm just really smart with my money now. And it's really just done so much for me over the past 3 years.
Okay, some reason, I gotta mute some more people. I pressed unmute all because my iPad is glitching. So just 1 second while I mute more people. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I didn't
I don't
even
know what's happening.
you went like this, and I was like, wait, do I need to say more? Like, what should I keep
No,
saying?
You're good. I was sitting here like you stopped and said, okay, unmute, but my screen is like frozen, and so I could only do it on the participant thing. So,
Yes.
anyways, Ashley, I absolutely love that. Your story is so inspiring to me just because like you had no excuses. Like you had to do this and you had no other way. Like it was do this or you're going to be living with your parents and not being able to afford a place for you and your girls. And you know, it's just so incredible. I just love your story. You're such a strong woman and it's just amazing. I could go on and on about just how I look up to you because of all that you went through, and you just made this business happen, guys. She has zero excuses, okay? And she's connected to your why. That's one thing that I really think about when you share your stories. You're so connected to your why, and really that's what's going to drive you. So if you don't know what your why is, really dig deep. Our business has a great thing in the e-suites. It has your pillars, but they also, I want to say they do have a why one too. If not, we have it somewhere, and I can find that for you guys. But Ashley, I love your story. So what a lot of us are really pumped about is your system. We have looked at your boards. I've shared it with the majority of my team. And if you don't have it, drop your email in our Telegram chat and I will send it to you. But it's so gold. I've been using it with my new distributor, first distributor I've used it with, and she's taking off. Mm-hmm. And so I absolutely love it. So if you don't mind just going over your system, y'all have your pens and papers ready or your notes on your phone. This is going to be so good and so important. So I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that it makes sense to you because I've actually added a lot of people to it lately, especially in the VIP page. And I'm like, I was thinking of doing, I mean, maybe it's just a green in me coming out, but I was thinking of like making a text in there that's like, hey, just to explain what I'm doing. But if it's making sense to you, then cool. And yeah, anyone that isn't in it yet, like go ahead and send the email, add them to it. This is actually something I've literally done since the beginning. Is I realized that if I wanted my business to move forward and I wanted it to move faster, like, at the time, the only like Diamond Plus upline that we had on the team were Katie and Brittany. And so it's so weird to see so many of us now, and it's so awesome. But at that time, we only had Katie and Brittany, and I signed through Katie. So like for a little bit, like I just didn't even really know who Brittany was. Um, but it's like, Katie would have her Thursday night, Tuesday night training, her weekly training essentially. But I realized that if I wanted to take off and I wanted my business to take off and my income and I wanted to get to, diamond and that full-time income and being able to be home, I realized that I had to have a team of people who knew what they were doing, and I had to take control. And like I could tell my team, like, be the captain of your own ship with my team. And yes, we hopped on Katie's trainings every week, just like you guys are, hopping on Shayna's trainings every week. But if you're not, if you've got people on your team and you're not doing, one-on-ones with them, or you're not doing, power hours with them or power 30s with them or trainings with them each week, that's something that you really need to start doing. Because think of it like this, like, so Shayna, for example, like her team's so big, right? Like, she's got Lonnie's leg, who maybe Lonnie's leg right now, like really needs to, like, she's trying to develop their signing distributor skills. But then maybe, I don't know how your guys' legs work out, but then maybe you've got Savannah over here in a different leg, and Savannah's team, like, really, they're really good with distributors, but they really need to learn how to sign customers. When Shanna's doing a weekly training, like, she's going to go over something that she needs her whole team needing. But, for your team to get exactly what they need, if you're like, okay, my team needs to develop, being better with host posts. My team needs to develop being better with signing distributors. My team needs to develop being better at signing customers. That's something that you can specifically give them, because you know that you specifically need that for them. And I know that, does that make sense? Of like, Shayna could do a broad training, and like when Katie does a training, she does a broad training, but it's not always what my team specifically needs. And so you'll know exactly what your team specifically needs at the time, and you're able to do a training on that, work with your team to develop into that. So at the time, for those of you who are newer and you're maybe like, oh my God, but I don't know how to train, like I'm still learning. Like I was still learning. Like in my first month, I was doing power hours and Zooms with my team like multiple times a week. And I'm the shyest person, even though Shayna says like she doesn't believe that. That's why I'm probably so green about my notes, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna forget what I'm gonna say. But for me to like do Zooms and stuff like that for people, even if it was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 people on my team, just showing up for them and doing that for them, like it made me nervous. But what helped me was going and like, tonight when you guys are on power hour after this, it's, watching that power hour, writing down all the tasks that they did, saving the messages and the tips and stuff, and then be like, all right, team, tomorrow night we're doing a power hour. And then just like regurgitating that back onto them. That's what helps you to get in the mindset of how to do a power hour, what to do for them. And then same with training. If you're like, okay, my team really needs to be better at signing distributors, I want to teach them about signing distributors, you go watch videos on signing distributors from other leaders, whether it's, Shayna, my YouTube, or if Lonnie has one, or Katie, Brittany, or Ashley Mayfield, whoever it is, you could type in how to sign mass enroll distributors. It works on YouTube, and you're going to find other leaders who have videos. You go watch those videos, write down all the notes. Like I would write it down word for word because I'm weird like that. And then I just regurgitate that back onto my team. So if you start doing this right now, whether, you have one distributor on your team, or whether, you're Ruby and you have a few, or you're going for Emerald or Diamond, if you start doing this with your people now while your team is smaller, your leadership is going to grow as your team gets bigger, and you're going to get more comfortable now doing that with people like, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And then when you've got the 10 plus people on your team, you're going to be a bit more comfortable with that because you've been doing it for a few months now. But I just want to say, like, part of my system is that when I was newer, and what helped me to move so fast is I didn't just wait for Diamond Plus upline to do power hours and trainings. I took initiative, and I was very hands-on and in control with my team. Like Katie's never done one-on-ones with my team. I've maybe had her do a couple like special trainings with my team and stuff like that, but I've very much always been like the core leader of my team. And I know that that's what helped me to move so quickly, is just having a hand's grip on that and really just leading, being the captain of my ship essentially. So what I do for my newbies is, we have the units training system in the team page. Of course, they're going to be working a lot like through that. And if you haven't updated yourself on what's in there now, because Brittany just changed a lot of it, added a bunch of stuff, completely revamped it this past month. If you haven't looked at it like within the past month of her doing that, I honestly like want you to go through that and see, because you want to know what your newbies are doing on day one. Like you don't have to have it all memorized. I don't have it memorized, but you want to know what they're going to be learning and when they're going to be learning at it. So you know what they're going through in their training, what they're kind of learning and going through. So then you can be there to help them on the side. So with my newbie training, I don't add my newbies to this. Like this is for me. So like for those of you that are going to get added into it by Shannon, tonight or whatever, don't add your new distributors to it. This is messages for you. I basically, when I first started, like I realized that I was saying a lot of the same things over and over again. And I was like, I'm so tired of typing out the same message. My team knows I either click buttons to send it to them or I'm doing voice messages, because being a mom or, at the time doing college and working and then being a mother, like I don't have time to sit here and type out the same message over and over and over again. So I always make buttons. If I catch myself kind of explaining the same thing over, I make a button out of it. And I say it how I would naturally say it to one of my distributors, like just how I speak. And then it becomes a button for me. Sometimes I might have to edit a little bit in it when I'm sending it to somebody, but it makes it so much easier than constantly, typing out the same thing over and over again. And I used to, before we had boards or WordBoard or anything like that, like I did it as text replacements in my in my phone. You know how you could go like OMW and it would type out like on the way. I used to just be like, I'd have like a little system of just text replacements in my phone. So I'm so thankful for these apps because it's made it so much easier. But okay, so if you are looking in the training, I have buttons for, when they just join, I'm like, okay, I'm so excited. You just came up on my end. And then I'm like, we have a 10-day training system getting in the team page now. Like, can you start your training tonight? They tell me yes or no. And then after that, when they're ready to get it going, that's a start this units. I'll help with the convo. And then I say, let's get the ball rolling and make money. And I kind of tell them to start going through the units, kind of like reiterating it again in another message. The first post that we have them get up is at TFX host to post. And I make sure, like, if they ask me like what to do for the conversation, then I make sure that they go to the other, I think it's day 2, or maybe it's in unit 1. I can't remember specifically, but the section that actually shows them like the full conversation of doing TFX. Like I'm not going to sit there when it's available for them in the units. You don't want to like hold their hand too much. You want to let them be a bit independent, because it's going to be better for them in the long run. So their first TFX post, they're using the conversation through what's on the units already. And then I let them know, like, okay, if you get a question that you don't know how to answer, or if you get stuck or kind of lost, like screenshot it, send it to me and I'll help you from there. But basically just go through this. If you need to, I was like, I like my people to know, like, you're not being a robot, you're not being fake. So if you need to kind of adjust anything to sound naturally like you can kind of adjust it, but keep the outline of the message like essentially the same. So they're saying the same thing. They're not changing it too much where it's not even the same like conversation anymore. And then on the day 3, they get up there, oh my gosh, huge announcement, just joined this business, etc. And my text that says, after business announcement post is up, I have this text message. I've used this literally since the beginning of time when I've ever signed a distributor, this whole system. And it basically sends them a text message that tells them what to do after they get their first post up. It tells them, okay, so you're going to message anyone who likes or comments. And then it kind of says, hey girl, thanks for the love on my post. Do you want some more info on being a product tester? And then, when they get a yes, then I like to keep it very simple and break it down between 5 things. And number 1 is, I need to edit that. It says 4. I didn't used to do the coffee. Okay, I just edited that. So number 1 is grow your hair out longer and fuller. That is hair, skin, nails. 2 is detox with the cleanse. Obviously, it's cleanse. 3 is tighten and tone loose skin. That's for the wraps. And then 4 is lose 10 plus pounds. I just do TFX. And then 5 is coffee lover plus weight loss. And that's obviously just one of the coffees. So I have them, send their first reach out message of, hey, saw that you liked or commented. Were you interested? The person says yes. And then they're going to break down and send this. Awesome. Okay. I have 5 different product testers I need. And it's got the little options for them. And then it says, do any of these sound like something you'd like to try at my discount? I'm sorry if this might be kind of confusing. If you guys, like, if you're in my, if you guys have access to this, go ahead and just click on the messages that I'm talking about so you can follow along. But the people that aren't in it yet, I'm trying to make it make sense for you so you're not just like, what are you talking about? And if you're not in it, you'll see exactly what I mean when you get into this. Um, so then from there, I have them, the part that I start helping them out with in the conversation is when the potential customer gives them an option. Sometimes they give them multiple options, sometimes they give them just one option. But from there, I have buttons for each. So I have the option 1, hair, skin, nails, and then I've got the pricing. I've got, option 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got all their explanations, and then I've got all the pricing. What I don't do is I don't send all of this to them up front. I'm not like, okay, cool, you've got people choosing options. Let me give you, the explanations and the price all up front, because that's going to overwhelm them. So as they're giving me, the screenshots of what option the potential customer chooses, say that they, chose number 1, then I'm just going to click the button. And like all I'm doing when I'm working with my newbies is clicking buttons. It's so great because if I'm making dinner or if I'm helping my girls do something or I'm just running around, then I'm able to help my newbies sign customers while I'm just clicking buttons. So I really just, I'll end up giving them the explanation, and then they screenshot me the next part when the person says, yes, I want to try it, or maybe they have a question or they're asking for the price. Then we do the price. So I'm basically walking through them through the entire conversation. And I tell them up front, I'm like, okay, let me know when you get your post up about joining the business, because I'm literally going to help you conversation for conversation. The reason why I do this is because 1, you don't know anything about the products yet. You don't, 2, this is going to help you to sign your 6 customers first, which is going to help you get your shopping spree, or sign your 6 customers fast, which is going to help you get your shopping spree faster. And then it's also going to show you how simple I keep my conversations. So by doing this with my newbies, they're getting their 6 customers really fast, which is getting them that excitement and showing them that they can do this and getting them those quick wins of like, wow, okay, I'm actually signing customers. And then it's also getting them, so they're kind of being confident. And then it's getting them their shopping spree faster. So maybe if they couldn't afford getting products, right when they joined, then boom, they're able to afford getting products like with that. My goal is the first week. Okay. Like if you're letting your newbies go the whole month, like of getting their shopping spree, I'm like, no, we're getting this in the first week. Like you set the pace with them. So I always do the first week, and my newbies sign their 6 in the first week. So that's getting their shopping spree. And then that's getting me my fast start and my cab within 1 week. So then everyone's winning. Like people, we're signing customers, we're moving forward. They're getting their shopping spree. I'm getting my bonus for helping them. So, if you, like I said, if you're kind of just, oh, you've got 30 days to get your shopping spree. No, girl, give them a week and they will step up to the plate and give them a week, or do it in a week. So then I have a message in there for when they sign their first customer, and like the shopping link directions, just because I don't like to type that out every time. I have a text for, when they sign their first customer, and just me being pumped for them, be like, hell yeah, like, okay, let's go for number 6 now. I love that we could do photos in the boards app, because I have before and after saved in there, so that like if they're talking to potentials and like we're wanting to send them a before and after, I don't have to go search for it in the team page. I don't have to have them go search for it in the albums tab. Like it's just right there. I'm like, here, let me send you a before and after. So everything's just right there. Like I don't like having to go search for things or finding a screenshot that I did or having to type out a million things. I'm like, if I do this all the time, it's all just going to be right here. The dirt list, the list of 30, I tell them, like, if some people, everyone starts with a different network. And Shane, I know that you said 30 minutes and I have 7 minutes left. So if we go over this, I'm so sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. I just didn't want to take away too much of your time.
I know, it's cool. My parents are visiting with them, so they're like distracted. We're good. So the dirt list, I tell them, some people start with really small friends list, or they just, I don't know, some people just don't, even though I'm helping them through the conversations, like customers don't come so easy. So at that point, what I do, if it's been like a week and we haven't signed their 6 customers, then I'm like, okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of 30 people who would literally buy dirt from you if you were selling dirt just because they love and support you. That's why it's called the dirt list. And then in that list, again, it just kind of, I tell them to let me know when they have that message or that list done. And then when they let me know that, then I send them a message. It's just the one that says, hey, start a health and wellness business. That I would message you because I know you would help me build my portfolio. And then again, it's got those same options for the hair, like the hair, skin, nails, with TFX, cleanse, coffee lover, and then tighten tone. It's got the same options that we've been talking to their other potentials about in there. So then I'm still able to use the same buttons clicking back and forth of giving them the explanation and then the product pricing and those before and afters in there. That's another way that I help them to get their customers really fast too, is using kind of like their warm market. I have buttons in there for being fast start qualified. In case somebody asks me that, I can just click a button and explain it. I have a button in there for explaining, what the apps are and why we use them. I'm very yellow green, so maybe not everyone explains everything the way that I do, but I'm very much like with my people. I'm like, the more that you know and the better I explain things, the better that you're gonna understand it and the better off you're gonna be. So that's why I'm very like thorough about the way that I like train people and like overly explaining things. And then I have posting training because I very much want them to understand, okay, just because you joined It Works, you are not It Works, you are you. So you need to have 70% lifestyle, who you are, and then the other 30% product and business. Customer explanations, commission qualified. I have the script chat and story example chat in there. I don't have our other team chats in there because now we have a bunch of like VIPs from the like or the Facebook group on there, and I don't want them having access to our team chats, obviously. And then my system, so that's like a breakdown of my newbie training, just so you guys can understand that. So what I do with my newbies is first week, we're getting their 6 customers. Once they sign their 6 customers, I'm like, okay, now that you signed your 6 customers, we're going to continue to sign more because more customers equals more commissions on your next pay, on your first paycheck. Because I don't want them to think like, okay, I signed my 6 and that was my only goal for the month and now I'm done. You very much need to get into a process of you're guiding them every step of the way. Like if you don't tell them like, okay, now that you've signed your 6, let's sign more, because you're that's going to boost your commissions check. They won't know that, and maybe they will just end up sitting there at 6 customers thinking that they've done a great job for the month when they can achieve more. So every single step of the way, you're guiding them and you're setting the pace. So I'm very much like, okay, 6 customers. Now we're focused on the 500 club and bumping up your paycheck. And then when they are about halfway through the 500 club, like, 250 to 300 volume, or maybe they're just killing it right off the bat, then at that point, I send them my Ruby video, which is in this training. And then I get them focused on Ruby also. And then I have them print their Ruby chart because like I said, like you're setting the pace. Like some people, like don't ever feel like you're going to overwhelm them. Like everyone moves at a different pace. Yes. But as long as you're giving them all the information up front, you're going to find that some people will rise to the occasion and they're going to end up, getting into the 500 club super fast. And then they're going to chart themselves for Ruby because now they know about it. And then they're going to just keep going. Some people, you're going to give them this info and that doesn't mean that they're going to do it. They're going to move at a slower pace. They maybe won't get back to you. They'll maybe stop after they get their 6 customers. That still happens to me too, even though I've got this, like, I'm going to set the pace and I'm going to guide them the whole entire way. But I very much focus on 6 customers, 500 club, going Ruby. And that's just really always like worked for me. But I very much like, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So even if you're giving somebody this, that's on them at that point. If you're doing everything on your end as a leader and they're not getting back to you, or they're not doing the things and maybe they're just moving at a snail's pace, like that's on them at that point. But I very much like, I don't like to feel like, maybe I've got this girl who's a rock star, and if I had never told her she could go Ruby in a month, she would never do it. So I like them to know all the things that are like possible and capable for them. Because like I said, the ones who will rise to the occasion and the ones who will like come in just like swinging and doing an amazing job, they will do those things. So that's that. And then now I just added this, when your newbie signs 6 customers and when your new DT signs a DT, that's Brittany's system for that. And I actually added that into there just because I really liked it, like focusing on like doing the 500 club posting and then working on upselling. I do the same thing after they've signed their first 6 customers. I very much focus on upselling too, because I don't want my distributor signing 20 customers in a month and then all of them just being TFX. I'm like, no, like your customers probably need packs and better products to go along with that. And that's also going to bump up their paychecks as well, like same work, but better paycheck for them. And I really focus on like, I want my girls to win. Like I want my girls, I also focus on selling their 6 samples in the first week because I just want that instant gratification for them. I want them seeing that they're signing customers and having that like, confidence. And then I want them signing those sample customers, because then they're making that cash in hand and they're seeing all the different ways that they can make money. And I feel like that makes me sound so red, but like, I don't know, I'm not very red, but like, I just want people understanding like all the different ways that they can make money and just winning right off the bat. So that's what I do for that. And if you're newer, I think that one thing that's important when you're launching your newbies is that, you're basically just teaching them everything that you're going through. Like, when you first joined, you went to the 500 club, and then when you're charted for Ruby, you're just essentially all you're teaching, your people to do is you're teaching 3 people to go to the 500 club. And then when you go Ruby and then you're going Emerald, essentially all you're doing is now at least 2 of those people on your team, you're teaching them to do exactly what you just did, and you're teaching them to go Ruby. So it's like you go Ruby and then you teach Ruby. And then when you're going Diamond, now you're just teaching, one person to go Ruby, and then you're teaching one of those Rubies to then teach their people to go Rubies. All Diamonds are is 3 Rubies. That's really all it is. And so I think it's just important that, like, as you're moving forward, and one thing that really helps me to keep my team moving forward is, one, like setting the pace and knowing that, like, at each time that they're leveling up, they don't know anything about that situation. So I'm going to teach them, okay, now we're done with the 6 customers, we're going to the 500 club. Now we're done with the 500 club, we're going for Ruby. You've gone Ruby. Now you're going to, look back at your team, and now I'm going to help you learn how to teach these people to get 6 customers, 500 club, and now them go Ruby. It's just duplicating the same system over and over again. Oh, I think that's it.
That was awesome. I know that I'm not gonna lie, I was being a little selfish when I set this Zoom up, because I was like, I need to learn how to do this better. But then I was like, well, if I need to learn how to do this better, then my team needs to learn how to do this better. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just so thankful that I hopped on. That is just so good. And so your boards especially has made it so simple. You have simplified it so much that when it does come down to us duplicating, it's right there for us. It's just a simple duplication, a simple hop on one-on-one, teach the boards real quick, and just be like, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what we're starting with. So I love that you touched on that. I'm going to make sure, I don't know, my iPad's so messed up, so I might have missed some questions if they were asked. I was going to ask you just this one question really quick, though. Whenever you do focus on selling them or selling their 6 samples their first week, do you use just Priscilla's file in Dreamcatchers, or do you have another system?
Dude, does she have a file in Dreamcatchers? I missed that by chance. No, yeah. I don't use her file. I never saw that. For me, I just have them get up some of the posts that have worked for me. Honestly, you guys, one of my best like secrets is I will go, like, I'll just have them do, in the past, anything that works for me for getting samples, I just have them start posting that as well. So, I mean, we all did that. Oh my God, 7 days with the girl with the skinny brew samples, like that one always gets customers. But another thing that I do is, in Facebook, you can search samples. Wait, I always forget. Okay, posts. I always like want to explain this to people, and then I forget like what I do. So what I'll do is you can search samples, like just on your regular page, you can search samples, and then it'll, like, Haley posted about samples today. I went to post, and like some of it won't even be It Works related, but then you'll see posts from people that you are friends with who have done samples. And if I see one of their posts that have like popped off and like gotten them a lot of comments and stuff, then I'll make my own version of that. Another thing that you could do is like you could search samples and then say that, like, you have your favorite leader that you look up to. You can search samples in posts, and then let's just say I want to do, I'll click the little like 3 buttons up here, or 2 buttons up there, and then it brings up this little like extra search bar. And then I'll do posts from, like, you're going to decide who the post is from. You can do like, if I'm trying to find an old post, then I'll do post from and I'll click me, and then it will bring me all the posts that I've ever said samples on. But let's just say, like, I want to like stock Cheyenne Knox. So we'll say Cheyenne Knox. Oh wait, that was not right. So Cheyenne Knox. And now I'm looking at any post that she's ever said the word samples in. I'm going to look through that, find some that she's done that's gotten her a ton of interaction and comments, and then I'm going to recreate that for myself. So a lot of times when I'm trying to like find, that's like one of my favorite things to do for samples, because I feel like I'll get stuck in like, okay, saying the same thing over and over for samples. So I just go see what other people are saying and what's working for them, and then yeah.
That is so good. I didn't even think about that. I did create a Google Doc to share with my team on selling samples, but we only use the same 2 posts for every single new DT. And of course, Facebook's going to pick up on that, and it's not going to get as good interaction. And I'm not sure why I never thought about that, and you can just use the same wording still. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. I can't think of any more questions that I have at the moment. I do know that this has helped me so much. I'm going through the chat really quick to make sure I didn't miss anything, what I can see anyways. But I know me and my team are very thankful and grateful that you hopped on tonight and really showed us how to really implement your system. It is gold. For some reason, it's not letting us add people right now, but it could be a glitch in the system. So we'll figure that out later on.
Okay.
Oops.
Let me know if I can see if it's something on my end. I was trying to add one of my I was trying to add Courtney to it yesterday. I was doing a one-on-one with her and I was getting her into it and she wasn't getting the email for it. So are your people not getting the email for it?
It's not even letting us put in the email, but I figured if that does happen, I'll just create one. Based off of yours, if that's cool with you, and then I'll just add it with them.
That's what I was gonna tell you too. I was gonna say, like, honestly, like if you just take the messages and like if you just make one for your team, like that's fine too. Like I don't care who's in mine. But if you want to do it that way, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been doing that too. I am gonna be editing it more just because like the green in me is like, okay, how can I simplify this more and how can I make this more detail oriented so that it can make my life easier? So you'll probably see some changes over the next couple days in it too.
I think definitely if you're just clicking the buttons and trying to go with it without me, maybe I am a little bit green. My color system says I'm like 1%, but I have to read it all before I can send it. And so I went through and I read all the buttons you had before I shared it with I shared it with my rubies and above. And I was like, what do you guys think about this? And they were obsessed. So I'm like, all right, we're sharing with the team. So we're not going to keep you on any longer, Ashley, but we are so thankful that you hopped on. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, I'm good. Honestly, send me this recording when you're done because I'll probably put this recording into that boards and be like, if you need to understand my okay, yay, cool. We just did a training on it, so now I don't have to make a new training on it. So I'm gonna put this into that. That's all I gotta say.
That sounds good. I have it recorded, so it'll probably be uploaded later tonight. I'm gonna hop on Katie's Zoom and then I'll stop recording now. Maybe if it'll let me. I'm nervous to see how this stops recording because it's froze on my end. I hope it stops.
Okay, it says it's.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if we just exit out, it'll stop and save to my cloud. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Ashley. And we'll talk to you later and you go enjoy your time with Holly.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on with my thing, but how good was that Zoom, guys? Ashley was so incredible. That was so awesome. And I'm just so excited to implement this, you guys. I just had one really quick thing that I wanted to share with you guys that I was in the shower right before the Zoom and it really spoke to me. And like right now is the time to be running. Right now is the time to be chasing your goals. So do you have a set why? If not, figure it out. Dig really deep. Why would an extra $200 help you a month? What would it pay for? How would it relieve stress from you? What would an extra 500? What would an extra 1,000, 900, 800, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 do for you and your family? What would that do for you guys? And really dig deep and establish this why. And there's one more thing for those of you, I know a lot of you guys are just killing it right now, chasing your goals, going hard. Don't let up this month. Don't stop, keep going. And one thing I wanted to say is just be prepared because this is something that I've always ran into when it comes to promotion months is something crap always hits the fan at some point or another. Okay. And so I really wanted to touch on this really quick before we hopped off because things can go wrong at any moment. And it's good that focus on your self-development. This is something that I'm working on more as well, but it's so important to focus on it because here's the thing, every promotion month, it has never failed. When the devil cannot distract you, he will discourage you. And I want you guys to remember that. You guys are all chasing massive goals and you guys got to keep running and keep going after it and just focus on your self-development so that whenever that time does come, because you're laser focused. You're focused on your goals, your eyes are set, you're giving it to God, you're counting your blessings, you're so thankful and you're blessed. If something does happen, just remember that he's not able to distract you, so he's here to discourage you, and I really want you to push through that. Focus, just really focus on your self-development. I want to touch on that because February is a crazy month. It's short. We go hard. It's time to go hard. It is boom season. Bonuses up for grabs right now, guys. And that's the last thing I wanted to touch on before we hop off. Katie Bevington and Stasia and Caitlin, and I want to say Haley Holt right now are hosting a power hour. So let's go jump on that. This is recorded, so you guys can snag this recording. I hope it goes to my cloud. But I'll see you guys on the power hour and thank you guys for hopping on. Bye guys. Oh, will it even end? End.